So what's happening, guys? Hope your day is going well. Today we're going to review a pre-workout, and some of you are going to be like, that ingredient profile looks super familiar. So jumping right into this, if you're new to the channel, my name is David. This is my mission to muscle health, fitness, life, growth. And I review supplements. So people send me supplements or I purchase supplements. I go over the ingredients so you guys know what you're putting in your body, and I go over the effects on the supplements just in case you guys are curious about them or interested in them. So if you're curious about information like that, go and hit the subscribe button so you can follow along, putting videos out as much as I can for you guys. So today we're going to review a pre-workout by Vintage Muscle. There it is. Boom. Right there. Hopefully the volume comes out okay on this and everything because my mic went out on me, so I'm doing this micless. Getting the flavor and another issue out of the way on this before we jump into the ingredient profile. The flavor on this is really good. It's kind of a fruit punch, and if you're a sipper and you like to sip on your pre-workouts, I'm a downer. I love to down them. Just get them in. Just get working on them. But if you're someone who sips your pre-workouts and you like flavor, then you're going to be fine with this. It's a fruit punch. They did really well with the flavoring on this thing. The other thing, so there was two things I wanted to talk about before I forgot, is anybody that's bought this or anybody's interested in this thing, the scooper is 3 grams off. It's supposed to be 15 grams per serving for one scoop, but it's only 12. That's it with a heaping scoop. So even if you come in there and you try to get as much on that scooper as you can and dump it in, there's no way around it. That is 12 grams each time. So you need a food scale in order to get the proper dosing as far as the effects that I'm going to give you. And most of the effects I'm going to give you on this thing when we get into the effects section is off of 2 scoops. So you just pretty much half the effects, even though I will talk about the 1 scoop dose and effects a little bit as well. So we're going to jump right into this. But for those of you, when I said in the beginning of the video, I said some of you guys are going to think that this ingredient profile looks familiar. For those of you that can catch what ingredient profile out there as far as pre-workouts goes is super familiar to this. I mean, almost exact. If you figure it out while I'm doing the ingredient breakdown, put it in the comments and put the time that you figured out. See who can figure it out the fastest before I tell you after the ingredients here. So we're going to put the ingredients right off to my left and get that out of the way. Right on the top here, we got L-citrulline at 4 grams. This is going to help with vasodilation. It's going to help with pumps. This is going to help with energy output, oxygen delivery, ATP production in the body. This is also going to be an ammonia recycler, so this is going to help with the metabolites that might build up in the muscle during training that will limit your exercise performance. Then we have creatine mono at 2.5 grams. We all know what creatine is. It's got some health benefits, heart, brain health. If you're type 1 or type 2 diabetic, though, you do want to get your creatine levels checked if you're taking creatine, because you don't want them to get too high, because we have to worry about our kidneys. But this is going to help with a little bit of cell hydration and ATP production when you get saturated with it for energy. Then we got malic acid at 1.5 grams. Malic acid is usually combined with L-citrulline as L-citrulline malate as a 2-to-1 ratio. They just separated it here. I kind of like that because then you can kind of really know exactly what's what, and rather than trying to figure out the 2-to-1 ratio, or if it's even a 2-to-1 ratio, at least they're putting it in separate so you get it exact. But malic acid is going to help in the Krebs or citric acid cycle in the mitochondria to help produce more ATP. It's part of actually the production and that firing that's going on inside of there, and that production from ADP to ATP. So a very good ingredient. This you don't feel. So if you take malic acid on its own, you don't feel it, but you feel it when you start to move and exercise. It helps with that production. Then we got glycerol powder at 1,250 milligrams. This is 65%. Glycerol is a hyperhydration ingredient. This increases the fluid content amount in the blood and in the cells for power and endurance in the gym, and of course the cell swelling that we get with the pumps. Then we have betaine anhydrous, 1,250 milligrams. It's all 1 scoop dose here, so you double that. That'd be 2.5 grams at 2 scoops. This is for cell hydration as well, more balancing. Has some health benefits to it, just for power output and strength in the gym. This is an osmolyte, so it has some health benefits on enzymatic processes in your body, and it's a methyl donor, so it's going to help with nutrients, vitamins, some vitamins absorb in the body. It's going to help with getting rid of things like nicotinamide in your body that your body doesn't want too much of. So it's a fantastic ingredient. It helps with creatine synthesis as well. So as far as this creatine dose, if you're doing 1 scoop, if you eat red meat, if you have creatine in your diet, this can help with creatine synthesis. So this will get you probably up to that 3 grams in the production during your training. So you don't have to supplement if you don't want to. Just all depends on how much creatine you prefer to take that works for you during your training. Then we got L-tyrosine at 700 milligrams. This is a catecholamine triad enhancer. So this increases dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine in your brain. It does that by being a precursor to L-dopa, and then L-dopa is the precursor to dopamine. And what happens is the brain will only increase dopamine to a certain level until there's a spillover. And that spillover, then the brain takes the extra L-dopamine and converts it into epinephrine and norepinephrine for cognitive function and focus. It's a great ingredient you find in a lot of pre-workouts because it helps with that exercise-induced cognitive stress. It'll keep that brain functioning and firing through all that stress. Then we have amyltine sulfate at 500 milligrams. This, I've said it before in my videos, one of my favorite ingredients for type 1 diabetic. You have to be looking into this ingredient. It's 500 milligrams, 1 gram at 2 scoops, of course, if you double that. And this is a direct stimulator to nitric oxide production in the endothelial tissue by stimulating the release of calcium, which then it stimulates the release of eNOS, which is endothelial NOS, which is going to help with that vasorelaxation or vasodilation, however you want to talk about it. This also has cognitive function benefits because it blocks an enzyme in the body that, or in the brain, it's called N-methyl ascorbate that causes vasorestrictions for brain health. This also helps with testosterone. It's been shown in some studies. It helps increase LH and FSH by activating gonadotropin in the brain, in the hypothalamus. And it's the LH and FH is secreted by the pituitary gland, activates the testes to release some testosterone. So great ingredient. Then we have, I'm not even going to pronounce this, but this is where we get canna from. So this is canna. This is 250 milligrams. Canna is a relaxant and calming agent, kind of similar to L-theanine, but not like L-theanine. L-theanine activates the alpha brain waves, and a lot of guys have trouble with that because when you're coming down off of it, it makes you tired and sleepy, or you kind of get like wonky a little bit. Well, canna doesn't really do that. It is a serotonin reuptake inhibitor, so it's got an alkaloid in it called mesembrine, which is a main alkaloid, which causes this serotonin, activates or blocks the receptors, so serotonin, as it's elevated in your brain, doesn't get absorbed back in, or keeps it elevated for a longer period of time. Then we got heparin A at 200 micrograms. This blocks an enzyme that restricts acetylcholine in the brain. So it's keeping acetylcholine active and activated in the brains for better cognitive function and focus. Then we've got N-phenethyl dimethylate citrate at 175 milligrams. It's a rhioduranesis. This is a PEA basically with extra ingredients. So PEA on its own is short-lived. This has a hour-and-a-half half-life. It's not as strong as PEA itself, but this is going to elevate mood. It's going to increase epinephrine, norepinephrine, and dopamine in the brain. Also, it's going to be a reuptake inhibitor for all those ingredients. So it's going to keep it elevated for a long period of time for cognitive function and focus and that little bit of mood. Then we got caffeine anhydrous. They're 175 milligrams. This is a adenosine blocker. Helps with that awakenness that you get from caffeine. It also helps with brain-derived nootropic factor, which is a protein in the brain for health, for neurons. And then it has some GABA, serotonin, dopamine, and I think epinephrine enhancement. That's why when you take caffeine, you feel good and you feel energized. It's all in one hitter. We got black pepper extract at 5 milligrams at the 1 serving. This is actually to bring it all together, digestion. So jumping right into this, we got pre-workout by Vintage Muscle. So getting this out of the way to see who actually got it, who figured it out. What is this pre-workout similar to? Almost exactly. There's only a few ingredients that are just a little different, and it is Gorilla Mode by Gorilla Mind. So I don't know how Gorilla Mode hits. It's all about quality of ingredients. This, I'll tell you right now, and I don't have any codes or affiliate links or anything for this product, but they really did good on the ingredients. The ingredients hit. So what's in here is in here, and it's quality. So I'll tell you that right now. I don't know about Derek's product. I've tried a few of his products, and it was hit and miss here and there. So anyways, getting to the effects here. You take the 15 grams. Let's do the 15-gram scoop. If you want just a medium cognitive hit in your head, no neurofiring, no like production, just kind of like dialed in, task-driven type focus, then, and a little bit of kick caffeine, 175 milligrams, that's pretty much what you feel, and a little bit of pumps, like a little bit of pumps. One scoop's fine. It's not a big hitter off of one scoop. I'm telling you that right now. But it does step you up from yourself pretty much if you want that. The 2-scoop dose, we're going to talk about that as far as how it comes in. Now, the 1 scoop comes in the same way, so I'm trying to do this as informative as possible, but in a time-restricted manner, so you guys don't have to sit around and listen to me for a long period of time. But 2 scoops and 1 scoop, they start to come in about 35 minutes. Nothing big. You just kind of like feel something. Like you feel kind of like an in-your-head feeling. And I'd say about 45 minutes, that's elevating a little bit, but not much. About 45 minutes in, 50 minutes in is when the energy comes in. Now, off of 2 scoops, it comes in, drops in 50 minutes or so, and that's pretty much what you have. So you don't have any extra energy. This is not like an adrenaline kick energy or anything like that. This turns out with the cognitive function and the focus and the pumps and whatever else is in this energy is just this medium high level energy that is really docile. You're not going to be jumping from one set to the next. You're not going to be having alpha brain energized mode. You're going to be like, cool, I just finished my sets. I'm going to go to the next set. But you have the energy to do it. So, but it's not a big hitter, just like a super high end daily driver there. The nootropics, they actually comes together and drops in fully about an hour. So at an hour in on 2 scoops, this is an in your head, not nootropic bubble, but 2 steps down, but really, really in your head. And you can really dial into the contractions and the sets and the reps. The ingredients in here are really good. That Araya comes in really good. I mean, I can like, when I'm on it, I'm like, I know what's hidden here. You know, just the combination of the tyrosine, the Araya and stuff, it really comes and brings you in your head. But this is not, like I said on the 1 scoop in the beginning, it's not like a neuro firing, like ba-ding, ba-ding, bing, bing, bing. This is a really task-driven. I mean, when it comes in on 2 scoops, it is singular, task-driven focus. So you're not thinking or worrying or want to worry about anything else except what you're doing at that time. And it's not aggressive or anything like that. You get this little bit of a mood that comes up, just a sense of well-being, nothing happy. So I was never at any point happy on this. The energy drops off, hour and a half, starts to taper down, just like most pre-workouts there. And the cognitive function at 2 scoops, at 1 scoop, lasts at least 3 hours after initially taking it, or actually after it comes in and hits. The 2 scoops will last you 5 hours after it initially hits. So it hangs on for a long period of time. So for those of you that don't like a heavy, long nootropic hit, that's just going to keep you task driven without the ability to actually multitask for that long period of time, then this is not for you. But if you are just a task-driven person and you go from the gym to a computer to do work, or you're writing or you're thinking and you got one task at hand, you don't have to communicate with people at the same time and blah, 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 then this would be for you, something like this. So that means that Gorilla Mind would be for you too. So, like those aspects on this, 2 scoops, the pumps are good. They are tight and they are full on this thing. Not a lot of vasodilation. So I didn't get any more vasodilation than I normally get. And to be honest with you, the vasodilation, I seem like I got less on this. And I don't know sometimes if it's the combination of being, overhydrated type thing. But this is my honest review on Vintage Muscles pre-workout. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I hope I hit all the heads of information there for you guys. I'll put a link to the company down below. Got no discount codes, like I said. I think they are selling this for about $27. So when you're looking at this thing, I would compare it to the cost of Gorilla Mode, if this is something you're curious in, and see which one you want to purchase and you want to use for yourself. Other than that, this is Dave. I'm going to get on with the rest of my day. If you do have any questions or comments, throw them down below, because I'm going to get to you. We'll see you guys next time on the channel.